Welcome guys, this review obviously focusing on Zvezda, fairly recent release of the Mi-24P version of the Heim. They had a previous version, this is the new version. The main difference is that it's got this twin barreled 30mm gun bolted on the side. The cannon is mounted on the side instead of like a turret mount down there. That sort of suits its attack profile, and that's why they did that, because the thing actually tends to fly a bit like an attack aircraft. On top of this review, we have got an absolute mass of aftermarket. So I'm going to try and zip through the review of the actual kit, which is again come from Armour Models. Pretty as it has, so I've got like that's where basically the extras come from. Let's open the box, see what's inside. Okay, so nicely individually wrapped water transfer sheet, instructions, bags, 1, 2, 3, colour profile. Okay, let's get started with the instructions and have a look at the parts in detail. Okay, instructions, the familiar Zvezda layout, basically a booklet. And typically they do this, they do a version, so you've got a variant to choose from. In this case, they illustrate one with all the hatches opened up, another one with everything sort of closed up. Of course, you can do your own variations on that. Get a sprue layout, sprue map, tree layout. And construction of this helicopter is atypical. Start with a cabin. You have got figures as well if you want to put them in. Do a rotor head. You get the transmission, the sort of gearbox. You get the turbines for the engine. All these bits get boxed into the top of the cabin there. Then you start adding detail in the fuselage halves. Here's a call out telling you what to do to put holes in the fuselage where there's obviously the stub wing attachment points, bits and pieces like that. Step 14, we've got the thing together. Basically, the actual construction of the kit is more or less there. The call out for the panels is actually decals. That's how they decided to detail this kit. Doing stub wings and attachments. Canopy goes on by step 24. Also, there's different steps called out for whichever version you are painting as well. This step here, we're coming towards final assembly. Undercarriage goes on. Various weapons. There's quite a lot of weapons that are included within this kit. 34, you bolt them all on to the underneath. Then we're going to be assembling, again there's different options depending on if you use these, they had some heat suppressors fitted onto the exhaust. You can sort of see them illustrated there for that Afghanistan version, or you can have the normal exhaust. There's the rotor head going together, yeah, quite a bit of detail in there it looks like. Various areas go on. Rotor head obviously just like drop fits on. And then basically the last page is showing you where the stencils are located. They've got a nice colour layout. What you come to expect really nowadays, seeing the different versions. The main versions here, where they have a Afghanistan background based hind. This is the version that's fitted with the suppressors on the exhaust outlets. You've got the colour call-outs again. Very seldom as any other call-outs other than Zvezda's paint and the Tamiya paints. But of course they're all described, so of course you can choose your own paints. The other versions here is very dark coloured one against Soviet. Again, this scheme is actually Syria 2017. Got this one here. It was based in this is East German example from 1988, and then a Hungarian version. So quite a mixture of markings there for this 24P. Let's start looking through the sprues, see what we've got, have a look at them. Note that you do get pilot figures included, which is a nice little touch, isn't it? The tail rotor's one piece, and just a one-piece moulding. Look at the detail inside here. We've actually got moulded in detail there. The swash plate, turn that over, not bad. It's a good basis for building up stuff. You know, if you want to extra detail this with all the wires. The blades, the rotor blades themselves look excellent actually. Some bolt detail on there. They're commendably thin. And of note as well that they have been moulded with the droop on them. So kudos to them for getting that sort of detail incorporated in there. Second sprue is sort of weaponry, basically. Rocket pods, some of the machine guns, bombs. Okay, this sprue has the engines or the turbines and detail parts. They look pretty good. I mean, they could be a good basis for extra detailing. At least you've got the option. You can choose how you wish to display it, if you want to add in all the, you know, if you want to show off the engines or otherwise, which I think is a pretty nice touch. Specific Mi-24P sprue here with the different chin, of course, that this helicopter has. Of note, here's the twin barrel 30mm here. Looks pretty good actually. It's not hollowed out, but it is a one-piece moulding. The front fuselage halves here, and then there's the interior of the cockpit. I'm trying to show you as well that, yeah, as we knew from the instructions, there's no relief at all on the actual central instrument cluster, but there is some instruments that have got three-dimensional depth there. And there's the HUD as well, and these are countermeasure. I think they're like a flare pack or another type of countermeasure, which looks pretty good actually. And the sprue packed full of details. The central sort of cabin area, well, the roof of it anyways, and they've actually got the quilting there, you know, a representation of it. There's the wheels, part of the bulkhead of the cabin. Looks pretty good. And here we are. Here's the meat and gravy that I've been sort of saving for last deliberately. And this Mi-24P, there was a previous Hein that was released, and of course this is what Zvezda do. They haven't got the ability with their moulding, and they're all made in Russia, to recreate the rivet detail or to create, well, actually they can actually, I'm going to lie there, aren't I? You can actually get relief detail here. There's one piece there, you just see on that tail, but this is not how the skin of a hind or really any helicopter looks like. Helicopters don't need to be particularly aerodynamic, and therefore a lot of the doubler plates, fish plates, everything, the riveting is all external to the fuselage, so they have got a very utilitarian type of appearance really. They do look pretty agricultural, quite rugged, but Zvezda aren't able to pick that up in what they mould, which is a bit disappointing, and that's probably why most of this is most of this review is gonna focus on aftermarket. It's how we're gonna overcome that in our build. Clear parts, and I'll just emphasise again, they come inside a Ziploc bag. Other manufacturers, take note, this is the way that you look after clear parts. Also with Zvezda, they've actually got their transparent parts are slightly flexible. I mean, obviously don't test them to the breaking point, but they do, and they're absolutely really nice, super thin, and crystal clear, as clear parts should be. No photo etch anytime in any Zvezda kits, because they're basically, I think you could sort of describe them as domestic market, and they are not expensive here in Russia at all. In fact, I think the price that I got for this was 2,000 rubles. equates to about $22. Here's our markings, crystal clear, used them before. The instrument consoles and that look pretty good, actually, to be, you know, they'll be alright for most modelers. I think even I could live with them. And here we are, here's some stencil data. So now let's focus on the aftermarkets. It's probably just worth noting that I really went to town with the aftermarket. It was all on a pre-order, so you just got 50% off of all the extras that I added onto this kit. As I said, the kit itself was only 2,000 rubles, but my total end bill was 6,300. You know, delivery is 176. So talking about like maybe about $65 for everything, but obviously $40 has been spent on aftermarket. So let's have a look at all the goodies. Okay, first set I've got is like nurs rocket pods. The moulding is absolutely exquisite. It really is. Strange colour. Moulded in two parts, and you need to separate these off. You've got a little photo-etched fret there, and also a very small decal set as well. More rocket pods, block, nurs. Again, detailing is absolutely beautiful. You need to separate these off the casting blocks, but look at these tubes, look at how fine they are. Again, we've got the decals, and we've got a very small photo-etched fret to detail these up. These are the twin barrel 30mm cannon in metal. Don't need to take them out, but you'll see how I build them later on. This is that electronic countermeasure block that bolts onto the tail boom. Resin wheels, underweight, with all the details, sidewall details rendered on them. Look really, really nice. This was a freebie, 3D printed, details like radio antennas, the cage that covers one of the ECMs, and weapon braces, and of note, those very, do you see the little fans just near my thumbnail? Those are those very distinctive fans that they have inside the cockpit. Exquisite little details there to add. These are from SEAL model kits. These are the pilot and gunner's seats. Note all the detail, the moulded in harness. Looks really, really nice little addition. We've got a metal pitot tube, and this is a 3D printed in clear weapon sight for the gunner. Two sets of masks. One is for the transparencies of the cockpit and the wheels, and the second one is to recreate that amoeba scheme, as they call it, for that Afghanistan type camo. We've got three crew figures to look at. Resin. This one is a technician who's pointing at a feature on the aircraft. Aircrew, either the pilot or the gunner. Looks like he's just placing his helmet on prior to boarding the aircraft. And the second member of the crew, also as if he's just preparing his own personal equipment prior to flight. He has got a separately cast arm, probably to allow positioning. So I've got three sets of PE. This first one is interior cabin type detail. It's very, very thin, and I probably won't be using all of it. These parts are more useful. These actually are exterior panels with rivet details, which are actually proud of the surface, that I will be using obviously to create that riveted look that the hind has. So that is going to be one of our solutions to detailing the exterior of the model. And likewise, this other fret of PE, also further exterior details and panels that will actually give this, some of the details are like the doublers and the plates that would be proud of the aircraft skin, and will really add a lot of detail onto the outside. Now the final part of exterior detail is this. This is a decal sheet with the rivets all printed on as decals. Now I tried to use them on my Hercules, had a bit of a fail on that because I wasn't really using it properly. Now I have found out how to use this sheet properly. In fact, they're much better than those HGW type decals. It's just a matter of how they are applied. And so we're going to cover all that, how to use these 3D decals, which are really going to add the bulk of the texture onto the model. And of course, all these rivets are going to be quite nicely in scale. As part of the pre-order as well, special deal on the Quinta interior 3D decal sheet specifically for the Mi-24P. As usual, we get an instruction sheet telling us exactly what we need to remove and how we do place on and the position of where the 3D decals sit within the cockpit. And here we are, here's the incredible, absolutely unbeatable detail that Quinta create on their instrument sets. You know, the bezel glass is actually replicated. The colours look pretty accurate for an Mi-24P. We've got the pilot harnesses. We've got various switch circuit breakers and auxiliary consoles. And a note, look at number 2, we've actually got a moving map display as well. This is certainly going to add amazing amount of detail to the cabin of the Mi-24P. Okay, so sort of saving the best to last. Here is a 3D printed rotor hub. Still on its attachment points. I'll cover how this gets removed. But the detail is absolutely stunning, including all the hoses, hydraulic cables, connections, etc. And it looks as if it is readily compatible with the blades within the kit. Of course, we'll have a look at all that when it comes to construction of this kit. As you know, with all of my reviews, I do build my kits, and I'll tell you all the pitfalls, tribulations, and bring you through the entire adventure. Anyways, this is the Bear. I hope you enjoyed the Mi-24P review and many of the accessories. And I'm out of here, so see you next time, guys.